Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Robert Rivera with Who's On First, and today we have a guest. He's an umpire at the Wendelstedt Umpire School for Umpires. He's from the Netherlands. Introduce yourself.
My name is Jeffrey Ben Snyder. I'm a 28-year-old umpire. I've been umpiring for the Dutch Federation since 2015, making my debut in the National League at age 25, and now I'm umpire basically. Well, attending a Wendelstedt Umpire School for the first time.
A student, okay. I interviewed you. I know this is you guys your second week. It's been interesting. You've been learning a lot, and mostly footwork, right? I remember you saying something about the footwork.
Oh, absolutely. So the thing about umpiring is that you have to get in a good position to get the best view, to get all the information you need to make a correct decision or render a correct decision. You can sort of compare that to taking a camera around the field, either to make a recording of the play or to take a snapshot of the exact moment you want to render your decision on. But it's to get into the proper position, you need to be quick, because these baseball players are world-class athletes. So you have to be able to pick up the pace and get there in time, and come to the standing set so you can actually see it rather than have your eyes wobble around as you see the play coming in.
Right.
So if anything, the footwork that goes with it is of vital importance. Yeah.
Somebody who has some serious speed, you're looking at 3.2 seconds. You step the wrong way. By the time you go correct yourself and then go step the right way, that play is on top of you guys. So, now that we have the instant replay, we can go back and take a look and blah, blah. Back in the day, you didn't have that. You had kick, and that was it. That's all you had. They had a flash, and you had to render a safe or an out or whatever the call was. And that's how fast it is. Getting back to where you're from in the Netherlands, I mean, how's the competition over there?
I consider myself relatively new in the Dutch baseball scene because often you'll find that there's a lot of people that have been involved either with their families, so for generations they've been playing, or they have a real close link to the game. But that was the first time my family involved with baseball. So I still at times consider myself relatively new to that sport in that sense. I have this feeling that baseball is a sport deeply rooted in like tradition, right? Mm-hmm. So but if I would compare it to like how people play baseball, I wouldn't necessarily call it small ball, but or major league style, but they do have their own personality to it. And I think what's so great about Dutch baseball is that there is a lot of influences from all over the world, and particularly talking about especially about the extended kingdom of the Netherlands. So talking about Aruba, Curacao, people come from there and who live and breathe baseball, and they take that to the field and compete out there every single day. And you see how the game lives, and it sort of revitalizes Dutch baseball in that sense. Inspires the newer generations to get involved. And there are some successes of the Kingdom team as well. So if we look at the World Baseball Classic, where we actually got to beat the Dominican Republic, or if you have like people coming over from either Curacao or Aruba, or any people that have some experience going into professional ball, so independent ball or the minor leagues, and coming back with that experience, just to see how that inspires people. So we have, for instance, people such as Kalian Sams, who was played in independent ball and in the minor leagues. We've had people such as Sharon Martis or Roger Bernardina coming back from their major league time and revitalize the sport from the top down. But we have young guys such as Daryl and Darnell Collins, the young brothers that were picked up by the Kansas City Royals just a few years ago, who really inspire a newer generation as well. So it feels like Dutch baseball has been growing, and it's a very much an alive and well sport in that sense. And seeing that from an official perspective is just truly great to witness as well.
Kalian Sams I bumped into him and I interviewed him. I mean, he's such a great guy, and he was a heck of a baseball player. He just recently retired. He's a very confident guy. He's got a heck of a bat. Do you see a lot of that in the Netherlands?
Well, you definitely see what kind of impact these kinds of players have, because like a teammate of his, Denzel Richardson as well, people who don't only bring a lot of energy to the field, but also a really fantastic mindset. It's not no without reason that they show the skills that they show, because they put the work in. They are very, from what I've seen, they're very honest and open about how they go about their business, how dedicated they are to their routines, and that nothing that they've achieved as they take for granted, if that makes sense.
To flip it from the baseball player now to the umpires, knowing what you know now and seeing what the Wendelstedt crew is showing you, what do you think of the umpires that you've worked with in the Netherlands now?
Well, first of all, it starts, it's the very fundamental is that it starts for love of the game, right?
Right.
I can be quite honest about my own abilities. They were not there, but I want to stay involved with the game. So, there are many personal stories that go to have something similar, that they want to stay connected to the game they love, and they want to understand the game, and it's a sort of a mental puzzle. So instead of like putting in the repetitions of going into drills with fielding, throwing, etc., what we try to get is like the mental reps with the rules, with the situation, the systems in which you run. We in the National League we run a 3-man system, but same goes for the newer guys or the guys below that work 2-man system in the Dutch Federation. We try to understand the game as best as we can and officiate to best of our abilities.
What are you planning on doing with all this knowledge that you're taking back?
I don't want to sort of enforce my view or way of thinking of umpiring on everyone else.
Right.
I do want to have a better understanding of the game for myself, or what can work for myself. But I've been an instructor for newer umpires for a couple of years now. And I'm definitely planning on taking the tips and tricks that I've learned or the mistakes that I've made to share that with the guys back home, and seeing how we can improve the game from an umpiring perspective.
How did you get involved with this? I mean, you're talking about a country that's dominated by football or soccer, you know? How did you get involved with baseball, especially umpiring?
So that's a funny story, because I started off like a soccer player. Well, I got enrolled into a local soccer team when on the age of 5 or something. But I just didn't like the culture, the trainings, the games, especially things around the field. There was such negativity. People would swear at each other, and we're talking about kids' games. To be quite honest, I don't like the game that much. You kick a ball for 90 minutes, they go in the net, you score 1 point. Well, okay, I did that with my friends in the break at school as well. So right. It wasn't too special, but it was my parents that wanted me involved in sports. We took a look around at different kinds of sporting events, or different sports in general, which friends played, or because I had friends playing rugby back home as well, and it all didn't really click. I remember being taken to a baseball game in Rotterdam. I believe it was a Rotterdam versus Amsterdam game, so Neptunus versus Pirates. I remember taking the stairs into the stadium. I remember it vividly, because the second I took a look at the field and saw people throwing a ball around, hitting a ball, I knew right there and then I was 9. This is what I want to do. That feeling hasn't changed, because whenever I'm on the baseball field, I just feel like it makes sense. And sure, I make mistakes, or sure, things happen that I need to look up after a game or something. But I feel like finding the puzzle, or managing the puzzle as an umpire, that sort of is the thing I do best, or I love doing best. So right. So there's that. And then the question was how I got into umpiring. Well, like I said, I was a okay player, if I was quite honest. And I was always like the guy that was first on the field and last to be off the field, also with practices, just because I really loved the game. And if we took a look at the general gist of a game, I was a pitcher or an outfielder. So if I didn't pitch a game, I got maybe like 5 or fewer balls hit to me in the game, and I got to at bat like 3 or 4 times, and the rest I was just sitting around. And I'm like, I want to be out there. I want to do everything, but well, as a player, you can. Turns out, as an umpire, you definitely can, because you're out there all the time. Right, and not only do you have the best view in the field, your opinion also matters, whether they like it or not. So that's another issue. But at the end of the day, I feel like I've been more involved now with the game that I love than I ever was before.
Okay. Now that you're in school, have you had an aha moment? Has that come about for you?
Yeah, I would say so. So the thing that I said earlier about the footwork, right? So there's a lot going on. Once the ball's being hit, there's a lot you have to take into account, and there's a lot of places you need to see, but the main thing is you need to follow the ball. So whilst everything is happening, the duty of an umpire is to remain calm and collected and get in the right place at the right time. So instead of trying to think of everything at once, you're actually going through some motion. So instead of having like total chaos and you have to reorganize that, there's actually a few different steps that you get to take, which will make, you'll find yourself more at ease in your mind, but that will also show in your mechanics. So the way in which you run, the way in which you look, the way in which you position yourself. So if anything, I think I'm starting to feel more comfortable on the field than I have ever felt before.
All right. Yeah. I mean, that's something that they also give you at Wendelstedt. They give you a little confidence, you know what I mean? They
Absolutely.
As we saw in week 2, they are constantly drilling the same thing on you, same thing on you, and you'll be surprised. You're gonna get that aha moment in a game one day. You're gonna get the aha moment in the practice one day where you're like, wow, I was really on that one, you know? So
absolutely, yeah. Yeah, it's truly been an experience of a lifetime. And like you said, they build you up in the sense that you start off as if you've never umpired a game before, as if you don't know what a baseball is or what it looks like. Right. And they just add on top of it, and they add on top of it. And at first, especially people that are familiar with baseball think like, okay, this sounds a bit, easy. But you'll soon find out that as they start building and putting more stuff on your back, that you'll find a breaking point where you have to do it their way and just accept the process, and then slowly but surely realize that you're actually learning, you're getting the experience of a lifetime.
Right, truly. Right. If you trust the process and you follow the process, as they say, bumpy roads will lead you to beautiful places. That's one of my favorite sayings. Have you been here in the States before?
I visited New York twice. Once with a very good friend of mine, once with my girlfriend. We got to see a couple of major league games, but this is the actual first time that I felt like that you get to walk around, be part of a community, and not just be the tourist, right? So you actually, you felt like you're actually living here.
What do you think of sunny Florida, huh? It's been a little chilly lately.
Oh, well, that's another great. It has been quite chilly lately. Actually, the last couple of days with some rain and some really cold weather, actually some freezing nights the past couple of nights. So it's like back home. But yeah, well, as a 28-year-old Dutch guy who also happens to be a ginger, I chose the real wrong hobby for my complexion. But effort we put in, right? No, it's been great here. It's like I'm back home, but then in summertime, so I'm skipping the winter back home. And I think the weather's picking up in the next couple of days. So
all right. At the Wendelstedt School, we say your family. Once you're a student, your family. I was back last year. I've been back this year, and I've been welcomed with open arms. I graduated in 2003. So this year it happened to be my 20th anniversary, which my wife pointed out. I didn't even realize. But 20 years ago, I was in your seat, and my head was, boy, I was spinning. I was umpiring. I went to Little League school. I went to this school. I went to that school. And then I went to Wendelstedt's, and I came out of there that first week going, I don't know what's going on. And then the second week, okay, it's starting to click. And then the third week, all right, here it is. You know, so I mean, it does. Are you feeling that family environment?
Oh, absolutely. And I think on multiple levels, in the sense that I'm really opposed to, or I don't subscribe to the notion that you can have like the best umpire out there, because at the end of the day, you're a crew. Right. You have to do it together. And here, especially, like you said, it's a family feeling, but you're learning in an environment where you're assigned to a crew. There's like 130 people walking around here this year. Right. But the thing is, you got to learn and grow together, and seeing things that others do well or that others can improve upon, and how you reflect upon that yourself. Everyone is just busy with trying to get better, trying to make that next call a little bit better, trying to get there. So in that sense, it truly feels like a family. And I've learned more the last couple of 2 weeks that I have in the prior 6-7 years before that.
Right. Okay. So this summer you got to work what?
I got to work the Harlem Baseball Week, which was my first, is like an international exhibition tournaments, sort of sanctioned by WBSC in the Netherlands. And so we have like teams coming from Cuba, Italy, Curacao, the US, Japan. But it just so happened that the coach for Team Italy is going to be also the World Baseball Classic coach. Do you have any idea who I'm talking about?
I have no idea.
It would be none other than Mike Piazza.
Oh, okay. I remember him coaching Team Italy.
And I got my umpire gear, my bag with me here in Florida.
All right. So you got Mike Piazza's autograph on a lineup card. Oh.
Yes.
Okay. The reason we got to talking to that was because I received for Christmas a baseball, and it was autographed by, we had no idea who until today, and I've been looking at it since Christmas, and it's Randy Johnson, Hall of Famer. So that was part of the fun. Speaking of Team Italy, had a guy, so he sends me a picture, and it is Anthony Rizzo, Team Italy, a WBC autographed baseball card. Of all the cards to get, and this is the first time I had seen him in the WBC, and I said, wow, this guy's going to be a major leaguer. But yeah. So now in the Netherlands, and this is a question that I always wonder, because I'm a big foodie guy type of guy. At the baseball fields, what do they have to eat? What do you guys offer?
We're not that great on ballpark food, though. That's usually because, well, I haven't experienced a lot of fans showing up to the games, unfortunately, and I really hope that picks up now that we're also broadcasting the games. There are a few clubs that have some hamburger stands, which are great, but like a true baseball food thing from the Netherlands is that it's players and fans alike, they get TOASTIES before the game.
What is it? What's a toastie?
TOASTIES, like a cheese melt sandwich, if that does that make sense? Like
oh, okay. A grilled cheese. We call it a grilled cheese.
Yeah, grilled cheese. Either a grilled cheese or a ham with ham or without. That's usually what people eat at baseball games.
All right. I have a curveball question for you, and then we'll wrap it up. So, what field would you want to umpire in, and what two teams would you want playing? And it could be any team from the yesteryears until today.
That's a good question, and it's just I think because. How can I put this? Wow. Like I said, I'm the first guy to play baseball, or I'm involved in baseball with my family. So I had to sort of learn the ropes and learn about the great history of the game myself, right? So it's really difficult to answer that question in that regard, because it would be amazing to see like one of the all-time greats play, such as Jackie Robinson or Ted Williams get the bat. Or see Willie Mays in the outfield making catches left, right, and center. So what field would I be taking? So it would be fantastic to umpire in a full stadium ballpark. So I would pick any of the 30 we have right now. But maybe historical polo grounds would be quite a sight to behold, I think. Also, maybe I'll pick that just to answer. To go.
If you want fans in the stands, I would tell you to go umpire in Yankee Stadium and have the Boston Red Sox versus the New York Yankees. And that's going to be a packed stadium. Or go to St. Louis. That stadium is packed no matter who's there. Another one is Little League World Series. Little League World Series is amazing. I've been there also. Those kids play their heart out, and that place is rocking. You can cut the electricity with a knife. It's amazing.
I think in general that's something I live by. In 2014, they made a documentary about the umpiring crew for the World Series.
Okay.
Hunter Wendelstedt was part of that crew, as well as Ted Barrett, who now retired in this past offseason. And it was something Ted Barrett said in that documentary, and that is, the pressure is a privilege. And that's those words I try to live by on the baseball field. As in, it doesn't matter who's playing, what's on the line, whether it's Little League, whether it's the World Series, you're out there. Someone or the institution of baseball has allowed you to preside over that game. And it's truly a privilege to be there. And the very first thing we're there for is to uphold the integrity of the ball game, of baseball. Having that pressure, having that being in that atmosphere, that is truly a privilege, and we're trying to be as much part of that as the players are, I think, or to a different extent.
Right.
For me, it doesn't really matter where you put me. I just want to get the best out of myself, and I'd like to see the best out of the great game of baseball on the field.
I used to have guys that say, "Oh, I don't do little guys. I don't do, men's league, and I don't do this, and I don't do that." And I never saw it like that. I was an umpire. I was assigned to a game, and whether I was assigned to a 9U game or whether I was at a 40 and over league, you always got the best umpire from me. Hustling, moving, in position, whatever. You got my voice, you got everything, and making sure that I was doing the game as 100% as an umpire as I can. And that's exactly what you should be doing. All right. Well, thank you for being on. We'll see you in the next couple of weeks. I'll be there next Saturday and check you guys out, and we'll talk again.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Keep swinging.
If you like the show, please do me a favor. Subscribe. Right? You see it? It's right there. Subscribe, share, like, and don't forget, put that bell on. It'll ding you when I put something else on, all right?